Hello, welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Wednesday to you, middle of the week. And oh dear. But have I got an interesting video for you coming right up. So yeah, strap in, pin your ears back, unless they're massive like mine, and then you'd need some sort of steel chain to do that. But anyway, here we go. We're going to go straight in with a weekly, right? And this will become apparent. The significance of this will become apparent in a bit. All right, so for now, just get rid of the MACD. Now, that's pretty colourful, right? I did this earlier on. I was quite pleased with this. All this is the bottom, the current macro low, the current macro high, also the all-time high, midpoint of that, and then the midpoint of the bottom half, and the midpoint of the top half. It's as simple as that. We've also got this dotted line here, which is the midpoint of those two lines. So that's just a bunch of symmetrical lines based off the overall move from bottom to current top. All right? So I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, the reason that it's on there is that clearly, as things stand, so yeah, it's still quite early on, well, halfway through the week, but as things stand, it looks like there's going to be a weekly closure at the bottom of the range, bottom of this range that's been going on for, or in the 8th week. So I did say it might be 8 weeks until it gets broken. And I won't know that until the end of the week, but it looks like it's going to be the case. And so if it remains below the bottom of the range, then indeed that will be a weekly closure outside the bottom of the range. And so unless Bitcoin did bounce from the sort of 55.5 area, and it may, but if it doesn't, there'll probably be another move down to about 52,000. They're not absolute numbers. That could be anywhere from about 50,000 to, say, 53,000. But the line's on there. It's just like a point of reference. So 52,000. That would be the next target. If Bitcoin breaks and closes probably dailies below 56, 55.5, something like that. And I think that would be okay. You know, it's obviously not ideal if you're looking for upside, such a large pullback. But what it wouldn't do is change any of this overall appearance, okay? It's just a reasonable pullback. But this orange line, for me personally, is a line in the sand. And this, I doubt this is going to happen in the next, I don't know, maybe it will get down to this area, but I don't know. I don't feel like it will, but that's ridiculous, right? Because we all have feelings, and they're probably all very different. But the point is, if Bitcoin started to close weeklies back below 45,000, give or take, maybe down to like somewhere between maybe like 42, but if there were weekly closures back below the 50% point of this move up, starts to look a lot different. That to me then doesn't look like a bull run. And I'll give you an example that makes it less subjective. So I'm on buy. No. Switch over to Bitstamp, right? So it's a weekly chart again. And if it looks strange, it's because I haven't got on logarithmic, because I purposely don't want it on logarithmic, so I can get a 50% level. In real terms, not in sort of weird logarithmic terms. So this was the COVID dump, but basically the COVID dump coincided to the macro low from the previous bear market. So not this bear market, this one, the one prior to it, which started in 2017. So it was 2017, 2018. All right. So if you take a measure from, oh God, I don't want this video to be too long. It's already going on a bit. If you take a measure from basically the bottom, I mean, it doesn't have to be completely exact, but something like that, up to this initial top, you can see the 50% was here. So I'll just go a quick line on, horizontal line. What colour is it going to be? Oh, a nice blue one. So that move up, 50% was there. And you can see that there was some weekly consolidation on the way up, indeed. Now, when it pulled back, and an uptrend, as you all know, involves highs and lows, and it just has to be higher highs and higher lows for it to be an uptrend. So move up, pull back, right? So that is fine as long as it doesn't start to close back below the 50% mark. Okay? Which it didn't. It then went further up. All right? So that was okay. So for that whole move, Bitcoin didn't violate the 50% of its gains. Now for this next move up, things are a bit different. So if you do the same thing from the bottom to the bottom of this move, oops, get the measuring tool, Simon, from the bottom to the top, whoa, which is there. The 50% point was here, so if I put on another horizontal line, so you can see, again, there was consolidation around that line. I mean, you know, it wasn't as consolidating as here, but it was slightly sticky price action either side of the line. And it made another move up, that was the previous all-time high, and then it pulled back again to the 50% point, so to here. But the difference in comparison with this pullback to the 50%, when we're talking about this pullback to the 50%, is that it then broke down below that. And that, to me, and you know, people look at charts in many different ways, but that to me was a signal of, excuse me, it was an early-ish signal of the end of this bull run, because what it meant was that this upside move had a chance to make a lower low compared to there. Whereas if it hadn't have broken down below the 50%, it would have been a higher low, and then see what happens. So this was an important area, because when it broke down below that 50% of this move up, that was the etchings of a downtrend, and on a weekly time frame, a downtrend means bear market. And as you can see, there was one more stab up, and then confluence within the market for this last leg down. So that was me just telling you, or vocalizing my thoughts about this chart. And therefore, violation, strong word, of this orange line, I mean, it won't be the line, but you know what I mean, the area, would look bad. But quite a long way from there at the moment. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Need to wait for the weekly closure to confirm this is a weekly break of trend anyway, break of range anyway, because my 8 weeks premise is based on the basically the weeks within range. So you know, you can have wicks up and down, yeah, if this no longer remains a wick, then it's not going to be within the range. I think you see my point. All right, so where am I? 9 minutes, good lord, and I haven't even got into any of the lower time frame. So the lower time frame stuff, so there was the range of doom that Bitcoin had been in for 7 weeks, and this was the 8th week. It looks like it's done a nice retest, and therefore probably more downside to follow. Momentum would also support that. If I flick up the MACD quickly, so momentum, I think momentum on all of the time frames I refer to, apart from the 15-minute, below the 0 line on the MACD, and therefore momentum is to the downside, yeah. So the daily, the 4-hour, the hourly, not the 15-minute, and not the weekly at the moment. So all of the middling time frames to the downside. And so probably another move to the downside is likely Whether or not that's first, I don't know. Yeah, probably will be, but I don't know. But I think once Bitcoin closes, or if Bitcoin starts to close 4-hour candles back below 55.5-ish, 56, 55.5, then there probably will be another move down to the sort of low 50s, and then come back to it. Obviously, that's all negated if Bitcoin can get back in above 60,000 on a 4-hour daily. But right now, that doesn't seem like the most likely event. All right, there you go. End of video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't enjoyed it, don't come back tomorrow because I'll be doing it again. All right, take care. Enjoy what's rest of your Wednesday.